This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So in the last class, what we have done is like we went to the Docker and we are able to run everything manually, right? So we are able to build your image and we are able to push your image to ACR, pull the image from ACR and deploy it to my some kind of thing. So you have done up to this level. So now what we have done, like, we have done everything manually level. So now I would like to automate that. Okay. So how can you automate this particular part in? So for this reason being, what we do, like we need to create a application
Shyam, your voice is very low.
very low. Mine is up, man. Is the same case with Jitendra and Jyoti as well?
Hello?
It's fine for me, but bit background noise. That's it.
Background noise, kind of that. Okay, so Chandra, can you check your headphones? It seems like it's look for good for Jitendra and other.
Yeah, okay. Let me rejoin one more time. 1 minute.
Okay. So this summer is too hot, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So meanwhile, let's go ahead and let's do the deployment of your web application. So the first thing in here, what I want to mention is that, so earlier when you're trying to create your web application, we used, to publish the code, to publish the code in here. But now what we do, like we'll try to go ahead and publish your Docker container in here. Okay, so for this to happen, to select the Docker container, all those things, what we need to do is like, we have to create the ACR first. Okay, we have to create your ACR first, and then need to push one image to my ACR. So for the first time, when you're trying to deploy your, when you're trying to deploy things within your web application pulls everything from your ACR, the image from ACR, and it accesses the ACR and try to deploy the code directly. So once the web application is created, when you click on the link, you can see the image over there directly. But going forward, so when you're trying to make any changes to the code, that should be done using your CI/CD pipelines in here. Okay, it's not like by starting level itself we can go ahead and you can go with your CI/CD in here. So when you're trying to create your web application, so we have to pull the things from ACR and we need to pull the images from ACR. So all those details will be asked when you're trying to create your web application with respect to my Docker container in here. Okay, so let's try to create ACR first. Try to push your image in here in automated mode, and then we can add your more things to your YAML pipeline to publish your code, publish your things to my web application. Any updated code what we have, we can publish that to our web application using your CI/CD. So let me try to go with the first step. Step 1, where create a ACR and push the image to ACR in here. Create create an ACR and need and push one image to ACR. So using CI CD pipeline. So let's go with that first. So going to my account, Microsoft account, user ID, my password, so let's go ahead and click on your container registries to create your ACR. So I believe I don't have any resource group. Okay, click on new VRIT-RG and my ACR ACR VRIT. Yeah, is there. Okay, I'm going with the ACR VRIT and I'm trying to create in my East US. Standard, so networking, public all access, encryption, tags, review plus create. So very simple and basic things. So just providing the subscription and the resource group name and SQL standard. So I'm trying to go ahead and click on my create my ACR in here. So now what I'll do, I need to build my code first of all. So what I want to push my code to my ACR in here, what I have in here. So to push my code, what I need to now to push the code. Okay, let me make this first step in here. As a step 2, okay, need to build the image using Docker file concept and push the image to my ACR using a CI/CD. Okay, so this is my second step where I'm trying to go with step 2 in here, where I'm trying to build my image using my Docker file concept and push that image to my ACR using a CI/CD pipeline in here. Okay, so how can you build your image using a Docker file concept? So generally we know that we have the Docker file, new code Docker. So we have something like this is a website. Okay. So this is the Docker file. So within Docker file, what we have, so we are trying to pull your image from some HTTPD or Nginx in here. Yeah, it's trying to pull from HTTP base code, and I'm trying to place my own code in here. So we already done this, right? So this is my own code what I have in here. So I'm trying to place this particular code and based upon this particular code, I'm trying to build an image. The image what has been built, I would like to push that into my ACR. So for that reason being, let me go back. So I need, yeah, it's done, very good. So I need my organization to be created, because the code whatever you want to run using CI/CD pipeline, that should be in your Azure repository or within your GitHub repository, whatever it is. So I'm trying to go with my Azure repos now. Click on my Azure DevOps organization to have my project created so that I can build and push my image to my ACR. So I'm trying to choose my default directory. So create a new project. So here I'm trying to create my web applications private and click on create project in here. So I have to clone this particular repository to my local machine so that I can have my Docker file available within the repository level in here. So I'm copying these two, or else go back to my training repos. I have not many. Let me remove 3 items. Okay, so now I don't have anything in here. Okay, my things got created, cloning in my Visual Studio Code now. So let's wait for the URL to be open up. Again, the same old things what we have done earlier when you're trying to use your normal level. So open. So I have to wait until there's prompt for your location to get your Azure repository to be cloned to your local machine in here. So once that is done, you can place a code. So what code I would like to place? So my code is like Docker file and the code what you want to go with, because both based upon those two only, right, we are able to build the image. Similar case here as well, I want to do the same thing in here. So I would like to push my Docker file and my Docker file and the code what I have in here. So you can see in your code, Docker, and my web application. So these two are things I would like to go ahead and I would like to push it to my repository. And later on, I need to add my task so that I can have my CI/CD pipeline created in here. So what kind of things you have to choose within the task level, I'll show you that now. So I'm still so long. It's gone. Okay, no problem. Let me go one more time. Yeah. So now go ahead, choose the location. Choose a repository and select your repository. So now coding has been happening in here. Now I can see I can copy these two files, go back to my repos, and I can see my web application got created today, and place your files here. These two things. So now you should be able to see open in a new window. Yes. I would like to open my new window, open a new window. I can see my application, I can see my files as well in here. So now what I do, I would like to go ahead and I would like to update my things to my, push my code to my repository. So a little bit slow today somehow. Now code added, tick mark, say yes, and push it. So now you push it automatically, or you can see your code coming up in here with respect to my repository level. So I can see my Docker file and my index file, and within my index file, I can see the code available in here. Successful, very good. So now what next? So next is like we need to go ahead and we need to create the pipelines so that I can build my code, build my image based upon this particular concept and push it to my ACI. So go ahead, click on your pipelines, create a new pipeline. So now I'll go with my Azure Git repository because my code is available over there. And I want to save my YAML pipeline in my web application, it's the same repository in here. See now, based upon the content what you have in here, they're trying to provide you something. See, say Docker is coming up automatically. So Docker, do you want to build a Docker image? Or you have built and push your image to my Azure Container Registry. So this is for Kubernetes level things in here. Or if you want to go with your startup pipeline, you click on this one in here. So for your respective things based upon the code what you have, your respective kind of YAML, the CI/CD pipelines kind of configuration will be coming up in here automatically. So what I want to choose now, I want to choose build and push the image to my Azure Container Registry. Just click on this. So it's trying to load the subscription and I need to provide the access for that. So click on continue. So now this asking you for the container because it need to push to my ACR, right? For that reason being, it's asking you container. So this container name is already shown up in here. How? Because I've already created that using my subscription. So when you choose a subscription, what are the ACRs that are available for that subscription will be shown up on the list in here. So choose it, and this is my image name, what I want to push it. And so this is the Docker file. So it's asking you for the if you want to build a build a image, I need to provide the Docker file for sure. So it's asking me where is that Docker file. So it's in a source directory, nothing but it's in the repos what we have pushed it in here. So don't make any changes in here. Just go ahead, validate and configure. So now you should be able to see the YAML file coming up with all the information with respect to your ACR and with respect to all the things in here. So let me show you that. Let this particular config part to be configured first. Yeah, so my pipeline is ready now. So I'm trying to save it. So let me only save it. I'm not pushing this to my ACR. I just saved it. Go back to repos in here. So I can see my YAML pipeline got created successfully. So go back now here and try to pull it so that I can have my things in sync. So go to the list. You should see your YAML pipeline get added to my listing here. Yeah, it's added. Click on this. Now let's try to understand what we have in this YAML pipeline which has been configured automatically in here. So anyway, we know this is like this is a kind of information point of view. This commented section you can remove that. So you are trying to have your own things in here self. So that is going to say self in here, and you want to trigger in where, which branch, master branch. So up to this is normal. So if you see here, even your pipeline is coming with my stages, stage, jobs, and your steps in here. So the same thing what we have, the earlier YAML pipeline, the similar thing. So here, this is also a kind of a variable. So I'm going to remove this one. I'm bringing it back to it. So let's see what we have in here. So saying that build and push stage, okay. So and this particular stage YAML pipeline I would like to run in where, in my Ubuntu latest. So the Ubuntu latest is automatically picked up and it want to run in here. If you want, you can make a change in here like your Windows latest, not a problem in here. Okay. So now what about the task? So up to this level, it's normal mode. So it's anybody even you can create directly in here. But after that, whatever we have in the task, this is important to understand. So what we have, as per the task, what I choose, like that's per the things what I choose in here, like your build and push my ACR. Based upon that, I can see something like build and push an image to my container registry. So what are the inputs that I need to provide? Build and push is a command which has been available within your Azure, which can run in the Docker of your Azure level. So earlier you have to run your Docker, right? See, I don't see my Docker running in here. I do not start my Docker yet anywhere in here because this Docker which you ran till yesterday, so that one is been used to run your things within your local Docker host. Within your local Docker host. But this Docker command which is running in here, this will be running within your Azure level. So this is your kind of a CLI. This is a Docker CLI where we used to run our commands, right? We have a CMD and we try to run a Docker commands, right? Docker and Docker images, all those things we ran it, right? So similar kind of commands can be written using this particular CLI in here. This is a CLI which has been created by your Azure, and this is one of the tasks which can be used. See, Azure pipelines, build or push Docker images, login and logout, start, stop containers. So using the command. So this is a kind of CLI where you can do whatever you want in here, and you can run your commands, whatever commands you want to provide in here. So everything has been provided by Azure only. So you no need to take care of this particular part, manually. So repository, okay, when you trying to run build and push in here, where I need to, what is the name of my, the image in here? So it's been variabilized. So what is the value? It's image repository. Where I can find that? I can find that in my variable section. So image repository. So you have mentioned like a web application when you're trying to choose your ACR name and the image name. So image repository, nothing but this is like called a image name, what you want to provide. So if you want, you can make a change in here as well, not a problem. It's not required to, because this name coming up based upon the repository name what you have. See, this is the project name or my repository name. Based upon that, my image name also looking the same thing in here. So if you want, you can rename this particular name. It's not a, you can provide something like Nginx app or whatever you want, you can provide it in here. So now I'm trying to go, let me go to my web application only. and what is the Docker file. So it's asking for the path. So where is particular path in here? So you already saw that it's in a source file directory, and you have over there you can have a Docker file. You already saw that in your portal level when you tend to select the arguments, correct? And it's asking you container registry. So where you want to push this particular, the all these things, what to say, like images, all these things. Because after building my repository, okay, this is an image name, and based upon this I built my image. But where do I push my image in here? So I need a container registry details in here. So that particular part, see here, has been mentioned in here. So you should be sending using my ACR container registry. ACR variety, this is the one where I have to go with ensure. And for this one, the connection has been provided in here. This is the kind of identity which is in provide generated where you're trying to provide the connection. And even this is like what? This is just for user ID where your Azure is trying to go ahead and trying to access your ACR. But again, to access your ACR, what you have to is like, you have to provide the access for the people to access your ACR. So I believe after creating my ACR, go to my access keys, and I see that this has been disabled. So probably you may push, but you may not pull for sure. So provide the access so that using your identity and everything, you'll go ahead and it can access your ACR to push your images in here successfully. And finally, okay, I'll go and push my image to my ACR, no problem. But what is the tag? So what is the thing in here? So here it's been something like, a dollar tag in here. So what is dollar tag in here? Nothing but build ID. So earlier when you ran the things in here, you mentioned your own, right? You mentioned your own version, what you want to push to my ACR in here. This is what Docker push, my image name, and this is what, like, 2.0, 3.0, whatever. So you have mentioned your tag name manually by you. But as per my Azure, it's saying that I cannot take. If you want, you can provide tag name directly in here. So this is like, this is like your automated version will be created by Azure. So you try to create a unique version for your image in here. But if you want to make sure of your own thing in here, just go ahead and you can go ahead and you can hardcode the value in here. But every time what will happen, suppose I hardcode my like 2.0 in here, but every time what will happen, it will try to go and try to create only two versions here, which is there already. So it may throw an error saying that the version number is already existing. So I want a new version number when I want to create a new tag, or whenever there is a code change, I'm trying to rerun my Docker file again. So what you need to do, you have to provide a new tag number over there. So every time I can't come to my YAML pipeline production and I can provide, okay, now it's the second one, right? So I'll be going 3, later on 4. So I can't keep on changing my production environment like this. So what I'll do, let my Azure take care of all those things in there. So how? By writing build ID. So this one has been controlled by Azure. So it will try to provide, whenever you try to run this code, trying to create image multiple times, it always try to pull your latest build ID. So for a particular image, you may have 3 to 4 versions. For now, among these 4 versions, I would like to pull only what? My latest ID. So to happen that one, you have to go with your build ID and leave this particular one for my Azure level only. Don't do anything in here. So for this particular part, the first half, what we have in here, what is that? Create need to push the image, and you build the image and using a Docker file and push the image to ACR using CI/CD pipelines in here. So whatever has been created, keep as it is. Don't make any changes in here. So simply run your pipeline. Okay, so this is what up to what only first half building the image using your Docker file concept and pushing that to my ACR only up to that level only. We are not deploying this particular image. We are not pulling the image from my ACR or deploying that into my web application. So that is the second step. So I'm trying to go with only my first step, and it has been configured as by default with respect to my Azure level. So I'm not making any changes in here. I'm going ahead and I'm trying to run my things in here. So go to my pipeline. So here, edit, and I can say run. So when say run in here, so we now this is asking me for the master. Just go ahead and run it. So when it will say run, automatically what it will do, it start building my image using my Docker file and the index.html what I have mentioned in my repository. So that image what is been built will be pushed to my ACR based upon the 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 information what I provided while pushing the things in here. So you can see it's trying to pull my HTTPD, the base code, and it's trying to build. See, it's trying to build the image now as per the view we have in here. So there's a different things, the labeling, the running things are happening in here. So once build is done, now it's trying to push. See, it's preparing to push to my repository. It's trying to push my things in here. So now let me go ahead and let me try to see the repositories. Yeah, I can see web application. And let's see the tag. It's 288, which is got just created at 11:15 a.m. in the morning in here. Okay, so then using your CR, so this is done. Once it's done, it means that your things has been created and you have been pushed to my to my ACR in here. Now I would like to rerun one more time. So let me make a change in my code a little bit here. Go to the list, Docker index file in here. So for example, now let me try to remove few things. Yes. And yeah, it's done. Now controllers. So I'm trying to make a change in here and I would like to push it. Code changed, tick mark, save all, because I think I have touched my code in here saying to, so commit again one more time. Yes, and push it. So once I push it, automatically what will happen? There will be a pipeline running in there automatically so that it can create my second version of my things in here. See, it's got started. It's in a queue now. So again, the things will start running in here. Now it will go ahead, it will try to build my pipeline with the help of my new code, what I have in here, and with my new version. So it will again try to run my all the CI/CD purpose what you have in here. New version will be created for the same, the image name, and again my new version will be available within my ACR. So it's again trying to push the latest version what you have in here. So let this complete it so that we can go ahead and saying that it's pushed. Now if you go back to my ACR, refresh, I should see one more. Yeah, see 289 has been created. So this tag is different and this tag is different. So this is containing your older code where this contains a new code in here. Every time when you're trying to deploy within your web application, it always pulls to the latest tag what you have in here. Understood? So this is my first half of my requirement what I have in here. So any questions, guys, with respect to my YAML pipeline? Okay. So let me jump into my step 3. Now what I want to do. So my images are all developed in my ACR. So I want to pull the image from ACR and deploy it into my web application. So first thing is like we need to create the web application first. While creating the web application, we have to provide, the ACR details. At the same time, we have to provide provide the image, the image as well as and my tag details manually for the first time. Okay, manually for the first time in here. So once your web app basing upon the image name what you're trying to go with, based upon the tag what you have in here, your web application will be this particular image what you see in here, this particular container what you have in here, the image will be running in a container, and this container will be deployed in your web application by default when you try to create your web application for the first time in here. Okay, but later on when there is a change happening, when there is a change happening within your code level, I will not go through my web application, but I have to go through my CI/CD later on in here. So let us try to create a web application first in here, so that I can provide all my details, ACR details, my image details, my tag details, all the things, and let my image or let my container deploy with my web application first. So let me try to access my URL and see the code. So later on, I'll make a change of code from my local machine, and I'll try to update the code into my web application using my CI/CD pipeline. So let's do that particular part now in here. So to have my things done, what I need to do, I need to go home, click on my app services to create my web application. So earlier, as I told you, you have used to publish a code. So I'm trying to use my vrit-rg and my web application vrit. So earlier you used to publish a code in here, but now I need to publish what? My Docker container, because this is the image which has been available within my ACR. So I would like to deploy my Docker container. Docker container means it like to pull the image from my ACR, run it in a Docker container, and that container will be deployed within my web application in here. So I'm trying to go with my Docker container in here now. See the difference. So earlier, when you're trying to publish a code, it asks you what is the runtime stack in here, what kind of code you're trying to go with. Is it a Python code, Java code, .js code, Ruby, what are things in here? But now I'm trying to go with my Docker container in here, because the Docker container itself already has my image running in my container. That means my container already will be having all the things ready running over there. So only what you're trying to access that particular container from a public, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to deploying my container into my web application in here. So Docker container, and choose my operating system as Linux or Windows, anything. I'm trying to choose my region where you want to go with, and as usual, service plan. So I'm trying to go with my basic level, and see, I can see Docker. So if you choose your code in here, you can see deployment. When I choose my Docker container in here, the things will be different. So it's now becoming Docker at the bottom in here. So based upon this one, your next option will be changed. So again, it's back to my production environment, because I changed, just switch it between my local, the code and my container in here. So I'm, sorry. Choose my base one, apply. So now click on your Docker. So here it's asking you, where is your source image? Is it like in your Azure container registry? Is it in your Docker hub, or any other private registry? So private registry can be anything in here. It can be your Google Cloud platform. It can be your Oracle Cloud platform. It can be AWS, whatever it is, not a problem. So currently our things in your Azure container registry in here. So any other private registry also, your the things will be supported in here, not a problem. So I'm trying to choose my container registry. So when you choose my container registry, based upon subscription, it try to pull you the list of my ACRs what you have in here, and within my ACR it will pull you all the images what you have in here, and within my this particular image it pulls you all the tags what you have in here. So you can choose the latest tag. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to do all those things in a manual mode. for the first time when you're trying to deploy a container within your web application. But later on, when you want to make any change in the code, I would like to go to the CI/CD pipelines. I will not touch my web application manual again anymore. So next is like monitoring, tag, and finally you can go with your review plus create engine. Review plus create. So I'm trying to deploy publish a Docker container. I'm trying to publish a Docker container in here. So image name. So I'm trying to pull from my where? From my ACR. This is my image name and this is the tag where I want to go with. So this is the URL where you can go ahead and you can access your ACR to pull the image and the tag from your respective ACR in here. So go ahead and click on create. So while creating it, it goes to my ACR, it access to my ACR, and based upon the image what you mentioned and based upon the tag what you mentioned, it will try to pull the things from there and it start deploying that into your web application. So here to make the things happen smoothly, what you have to do is like within your ACR, you have to enable your admin access. If you do not enable there, then probably you may not able to pull it. The things will be failed in here. So they'll throw an error saying that I don't have permissions to access the ACR. So provide your access within ACR and then only the things will be handled in a smoother manner. Okay, so once this is done, and you can see your URL created for my web application. So what you have in the particular URL, I'll be having my Docker container. So what you have in the container, I'll be having my image. What your image is having, your image is having the code. So what is the code you have? The code is nothing but this is the one you have in there. So this should be displayed as with respect to my web application here. So go to resources now. See, I can see my URL. Click on my URL. It's the old one. Let me refresh. Probably I need to clear the cookies. So this is the older one. The last time when we trying to do, so we have done this particular part. So it has taken a little bit time to come up probably. So this should show me the code what you have within my Docker file in here. So next is like, I want to go and I would like to add my things to my YAML pipeline. So I would like to add one more stage within my YAML pipeline so that after pushing my things to my ACR, I would like to connect to my ACR and pull my, the image and push it to my or deploy that into my web application. So how can you do that? So I would like to add one more task, or I would like to add one more stage so that I can deploy that into my web application. So go let this happen. See, now I can see my code. So this is the code we have right in the Docker file. So based upon this only, I'm able to see it directly. But this is not the right way. I mean, this is not the actual way or the permanent way we do it in here. So when you make any changes to the code level, I cannot go and again I cannot do the things in here. So I would like to make the things automated way using my CI/CD pipelines. For that reason being, going back to pipeline in here, edit your pipeline so that I can add more stages with respect to my deployment in my web application here. So what I do, see, I'm trying to copy my first stage up to steps. And the stage is under my S in here. So try to follow the same thing. Make sure. So here, this is for what? My deploy. And here I can say deploy to web application. Here again, deploy. Here again, deploy. And I can keep this the same thing in here. Now under my steps, I need to add my task. This is mandatory part. Okay, under the steps, I need to add my steps task in here. This is the mandatory part. So for that reason, we hit on enter. So now what you're trying to do, you're trying to deploy a container in your web application, right? So for the same thing, you can go ahead in here and say containers. So I can see my web application for containers, Azure web app for containers in here. So it's asking for a subscription. Click on subscription and authorize it so that Azure can go ahead, access my subscription, pull the code what you have within your repository and push it to my web application what you have in here. So both the repositories, my code and my web application, both these belongs to my subscription only, right? But who's trying to deploy that things for now? Your Azure is trying to do that for that. For that reason, I need to authorize my things in here. So now it's asking for my application name where you want to deploy it. So this is the name I have in here, and it's asking you what's the image name what you deploy, what is the all the things in this. So image name for now I'm trying to provide my sample, and I don't want to do anything in here. Click on add button. So this is the this is the task. This is Azure Web App container, the CLI, where within Azure level to run the things to deploy your container within my web application. So it's asking for subscription in here. This is my application name, or the web application name what you have in here. And here you have to mention clearly like what is the container name and all those things, right? So if you want to mention here, what you do, go back to my where I'm in. Okay, go back to my ACR once. Repositories. Click on your web application, click on any one of the tag, the latest tag. See, this is what you have to mention, because this is the what I need to pull it, right? This is what I need to pull it. I need to place that into my web application. So I'm trying to go and access this particular web application using my subscription. But what you want to deploy in here? So I need to provide my container details in here. So that means it's not only the container, it's not like the ACR name. I have to mention my image name and tag number as well. So the same thing, see, I'm trying to have my ACR details, I have my image details, and I have my tag details in here. Just try to copy the same thing, copy it, go back here, and instead of this one, try to place your value. Okay, just try to remove this one. So now if you see here, this is what my the container registry details, where it's already available in here. See, it's asking you for your the container registry. So if you go top, the same details, right? Azure, so acr-brit.azure.cr.io. See, acr-brit.azure.cr.io. The same details you can see already available in here for the first step what you have done. So instead of hard coding over there, what I'll do, let me go ahead and let me try to variabilize. So instead of having this one, what I'll do, I'll go with my dollar, place it. So under this value, what will be coming up? You'll be coming up your ACR, VRIT, the ACR details in here. Correct. So now about my image name. So where you have this one web application, I have here, right? So I can go and variabilize this particular part as well, right? Dollar within the brackets, control, and finally tag. So tag, currently you have 289, but when you run it, it may be 290, again 291, 292. So I cannot mention my hard-coded value in here. If you mention this value in here, every time it will try to pull the same tag only. Even though you can see multiple versions in here, right? Even though you can see multiple version tags in here, every time it will pull you the same old one. So you may not see the change in your code or reflect within my web application, within my web page in here. So for that reason, what I'll do, instead of hardcoding this value, so for tag you already have here, see tag, you can see build ID, which has been generated by default. Okay, so what I do, instead of mentioning the tag over there, the hardcode value, I'll try to copy this one, come down, and here provided this. That's it. So what I'm trying to do in here, it's using my subscription, go into my web application in here. What it will do, it will access my ACR, it access my image, and it always try to pull you the latest build ID. It always pull the latest build. Let's see how can you make sure it's the latest build ID or not? Because see here, whenever it's trying to build and push an image to my ACR, it's trying to build the image. So build the tag number in here. The same tag number I'm using it here as well. See, both are same. I'm using the same word. So the every time I try to pull in the latest tag in here. Understood, right? So this is what I need to go with. So I'm going to now click on save button. I'm not running it. I'm just saving it in here. And I would like to pull this one back to our system so that I can have my latest code and sync in here. So pull it. Yeah, now I can see my second stage also been added successfully in here. So now earlier, so this is what my default code what I have in here. Now what I do, let me remove all those things and just keep 2 lines only. So go back to my code now, index.html, and try to remove everything. So try to remove up to this level, or Control Z. So let me keep the last. So here I would say welcome to, web application, or welcome to Docker, something, just to make sure we have a new code in here. So for this one, we are good. Starting and ending, starting and ending, and starting and ending. Yeah, looking good now. So go ahead and save the code. Control S. Now code, or you can say updated, tick mark, say yes. Now when you push it, again what it will do, based upon the new code what you have, new image will be built, that will be pushed to my ACR, and I can see 290, and 290 should be considered, that particular tag should be pulled, and it should be what, it should be deployed within my web application in here. That's what we are expecting as per the stage what we added in here, right? So go back in here. So we already saved it. Now say push it. Now within my repos, I should see my new code. Yeah, I can see web app, contain everything. Go to the pipeline, check it out. So it started running. See, now I can see, oh, let me cancel one. Somehow it ran twice. So I can see one, my permissions required. Okay, waiting for the permissions. For the first time, it may ask you for the permission, but later on, it now asks you. So view it, provide the permission so that it will go ahead and deploy things in here. So my build part is already done. Let me check my ACR. Yeah, I can see 290. So as per my things, 290 should be pulled and pushed to my web application in here. So it's trying to deploy the things to my respect to container, I mean respect to my web application in here. So trying to update my services. Yeah, see, it's trying to access my same web application what I have in here. So my new thing has been built, and now the container should go ahead and should be deployed within my thing. So starting to okay, it's been restarted and my things has been restarted successfully as well in here. So if you go ahead and let me try to see, I don't see still. Let this little part to be completed. What's it still doing it here? Yeah, it's done. Now post, finalized, completed. Now it should pull the latest tag as I show you, and based upon that, it should show you the new code within your web applications in here. So just waiting to refresh my page. What happened? Let me close it. Go to my web applications. URL. What happened? Why did not pull my latest thing in here? I don't see any error. HTTP copy by index. So we have index in here. My new code, very good. HTTP copy index possibility. Um, Successfully built. So it's created my new version 290. Perfect. And it's trying to prepare. Yeah, it's pushed. So up to this level, we are good to go. So you have to check in the deployment level. I can see everything looking good in here. Git version configuration. Why don't see the difference? Okay. Application. It's not even throwing any error in here. It's deployment. Let me try to rerun one more time. Somehow I don't think. Still running. So I need to see one more, right? Because I'm going to run one more time again. So you should be able to see one more version created within your ACR level. Access has been provided. Very good. No. So you can see 292. This is created. Very good. It's been built. Yeah. The first step is very good. So let me check this one. This is important for us. Container as image detail was specified. Is starting successfully. Yeah. See, I can see my things now. Somehow it did not reflect it, but when I rerun my pipeline again, as per my latest code, I can see my things coming up in here. Okay. So whenever you're trying to make any changes in here now, again, I am trying to remove the total level and I'm keeping only just one line in here. Okay. So is this completed? Yeah. So now going back, Control S, updated, tick mark, yes. Push it. Going back to my repository now. So within my code page, I can see only one line. Let me check my pipelines. Yeah, just triggered. So it has to build one more, the new code as per the, see, it's 292, right? Now refresh. Let this particular pipeline to be completed, the first build pipeline, so that I can see one more coming up over there, maybe 293, and the 293 should go and pick my latest code and deploy that into my web application in here. So let me check. Go back, refresh. Perfect. 293. Now let me see my deployment pipeline. So it started. It's trying to access my web application and update. So once it's completed, go and refresh your page. You should see the single line only. Yeah, it's done successfully also. So let me check meanwhile. Perfect. See, I can see only one line. So this is how you can automate things, guys. Okay. So using this CI/CD pipeline, what you have in here within your, it's completed within your CI/CD pipeline, what you have in here. So based upon that, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to build my code and push it to my ACR. At the same time, I'm able to pull my latest tag into my web application in here. Okay. So this is about your Docker case, the automation part. So till now, I mean, earlier we saw everything manually, everything we ran using your command lines. But now it's purely your CI/CD pipeline, purely your automation way. You have done that. Okay. So any questions, guys? Right. So I'll stop here. So tomorrow I'll start with the extension of my Docker. That's nothing but my Kubernetes. Okay. So what is Kubernetes? Why do we need a Kubernetes in here? How it is used for your Docker? And also we'll try to run some kind of commands manually first within your Kubernetes environment, and we'll try to tag that again by using the same kind of YAML pipelines where you can deploy your, the containers within your Kubernetes environment using your CI/CD pipelines. The similar way what we done for your Docker again. Okay. Right then. we can wind up for today. We'll meet tomorrow again, same time. Have a great day ahead, guys. And we'll meet tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sham.